This is Frank Islam, Chairman and CEO FI Investment Group and your host of Boston Current Review, where we interview leading voices from business and politics that impact you, the viewer. Today, our guest is Dr. Singh. Dr. Singh is a constant source of inspiration for all of us because he's very much engaged and involved in the Sikh community. He subscribed to the notion, as President John F. Kennedy once said, to whom much is given, much is expected. Thank you very, very much for coming. We appreciated that very much.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, you're most welcome. Tell me a little bit about yourself, and then tell me a little bit about how did you get engaged with the White House, and what do you do?
I actually was 17 years old when I came to this country, and I did my undergrad studies here, and then became a dentist.
So you're a dentist?
Yes. I went to Georgetown to finish my dentistry. And so currently I have a dental practice. I have 3 offices in Maryland.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And,
tell me a little bit about your involvement with the White House and the Sikh community. What you're doing is a great thing. I think it's the right thing to do, and especially after 9/11, they have been a victim. They have been buried under the history of circumstance and what I consider the prejudice and hostility. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes.
What you do is a wonderful thing to do.
Thank you so much. Well, in 1998, actually in 1993, we were involved in a passage of a bill called Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which was to make sure that religious rights are maintained for all communities. And I was part of that coalition. So because of that involvement, we were invited by President Clinton the very first time at the White House. I was the very first Sikh ever at the White House, invited by the president. So I had that privilege. And since then, we stayed engaged with the Clinton administration. And the very first briefing we held at the White House in 1996. And then throughout the Clinton administration, and then when 9/11 happened, things completely were challenged for the Sikh community, and it was a very, very difficult time. So,
especially they confront the hostility and open prejudice, and they thought they were Muslims because of their beards and so on and so forth.
Absolutely.
Which is very unfortunate. This is not who we are as an American. We always been open and inclusive in this country and provide the religious freedom, and this is how our country was founded.
Yes, indeed. And so right after 4 days later, President Bush invited me along with the religious leaders from all over the country to create a sense of togetherness. And so I had the privilege to meet with the President Bush, and then we had several occasions where the Bush administration sort of promised to stand behind the Sikh community. And we had a event at the White House.
Under the Clinton administration, the
Bush
administration.
Yes.
So you worked for many, many administrations.
Yes, indeed. I was just privileged to be in that position. So the very first event at the White House took place in 2004. And for the Sikh community, it was a moment of celebration because we've been here from last almost 100 years to have that recognition at the White House. And then President Obama became president, and that was a very happy occasion for us. So we continued our engagement with the Obama administration, and especially the issues arising out of 9/11, but then became much more accentuated with the attack in the Wisconsin Gurdwara.
Right. And I know you guys were at the White House. I happened to be there, and Michelle Obama was there. Several Sikh leaders was there after what happened, the aftermath of the Wisconsin event.
Yes.
How do you feel? I mean, this is a question that I shouldn't be asking, but I will ask. I mean, you're singled out because who you are, what you believe in it, and you should believe what you believe in it because that's important to all of us in this country that we give people religious freedom. Do you feel that the Obama administration is doing a little bit better job than the Clinton and the Bush administration in terms of engaging the Sikh community, which I see they do, but I want to get your perspective on this.
No, I feel that Obama administration has gone out of its own
one step further.
Yeah, one step further, that they have appointed a Sikh representative on the Asian Pacific Commission. And in addition, President Obama invited us to have the first celebration of the Guru Nanak's, the founder's birthday at the White House. And the Attorney General has been very kind.
You're talking about Eric Holder?
Yes, and his administration at the Justice Department has done everything possible to give a sense of assurance to the Sikh community that the administration is behind them. And so they have taken series of steps, but there are a lot of issues that needs to be addressed. So, but I want to, one thing I want to share with the audience and with you also.
Please do so.
That my view is that we don't want to be always talked in reference to being a victim.
Exactly.
We want to show that the Sikh community in the last 100 years...
It's part of the social, political, and fabric of our society,
absolutely.
A productive society.
And we have contributed so much.
You have.
We have created jobs.
And you continue to do so.
Absolutely. In fact, we had an event at the White House last year where we celebrated the 100th anniversary of a gentleman, Bhagat Singh Thind, who came 100 years ago. He fought in the World War I, and then he fought for his citizenship. And his citizenship was denied because the Supreme Court said that he was not Anglo-Saxon enough. Yeah. So, but
that's the darkest past of our history.
Absolutely. But then later on he got his citizenship.
Okay.
But the very point which we wanted to say that this is the guy who went all the way to the Supreme Court to fight for his right.
His rights.
Right. So at that celebration at the White House, we invited about almost 150 Sikh CEOs and business leaders from all over the country.
Oh, one of the CEOs is the MasterCard. He also happens to be Singh, Mr.
Absolutely.
What's his name? I just forgot.
Ajay Banga.
Yeah, and he's the part of the U.S. India Business Roundtable.
Absolutely.
And he's a very smart and savvy person.
And you'll be surprised to know that the Washington Post's CFO is also Sardar.
He's indeed. And I met him. He's a wonderful person. He's very smart. Obviously, he didn't get there if he wasn't smart.
Absolutely. And then Hyatt Hotel CFO is also a Sikh gentleman.
Is that right?
Yes.
That's the Commerce Secretary's family owns it, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And similarly,
Penny Pritzker.
Yes, and similarly, Hewlett-Packard had a CMO who was a Sardar gentleman. So we calculated that the net worth of all the companies which are headed by the Sikh community, and you'll be surprised that it's almost $100 billion.
God, very much so.
So just imagine how much we are contributing. We don't want to be always talked about. Hate crimes and discrimination is an important issue. We should be fighting for that. But that's not the only story of the Sikhs. The Sikhs are doing so well.
You want to tell your success story.
Absolutely.
Your community has realized and achieved the American dream.
Absolutely.
But you have been provided the ladders of opportunity to succeed. But it is high time for you to share with America by giving back.
Absolutely.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well,
I know you guys do a great job with the Sikh community. What about expanding beyond the Sikh community?
Yeah. In fact, you probably will be the first channel or first person that I'm revealing this secret. We have a campaign that we are going to launch.
Okay.
We are calling it a National Sikh Campaign. We're gonna go to every section of the American community, and to highlight the presence of the Sikhs, how they are contributing, so that it opens up a way for Sikh young people to become leaders, to fight for or run for offices, or to become
engaged politically.
Exactly. So that's the high time that the community does that. We've done so well.
Yes.
Despite of all these difficulties, 9/11, the Iranian oil crisis, and but the Sikh community, from the very beginning of its own inception, has always faced discrimination, always faced persecution, and yet the Guru, the founder, said that never ever compromise. What we call is a sawa lakh se ek ladaun. That means every one individual must think himself as a sawa lakh. Then 125,000 people are entrapped in one soul.
But the whole religion came out during the time of the Aurangzeb in India, and your fellow Sikh community have really confronted so much prejudice during the Mughal Empire, and continue on in India, and it still continues to be there in some part of India, regardless of the fact that Prime Minister Manmohan Singh is one of the best Prime Minister that we had in India. And I want to thank you for your leadership, what you're doing in terms of giving a hope and aspirations and dreams to the new generation, which is very, very important. So and when you face the hostility and prejudice, gives you the strength and the courage to go on and to continue and to do better than anyone else. So thank you for your leadership. And is there anything I can do to help? I'll be more than happy to.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And
You're
you
most
have
welcome.
done so much for the community, and
Thank
we
you.
are proud of your achievement and your engagement.
Yeah, thank you very much. So let me ask you, in terms of your relationship with President Obama's White House, what the next step for you if we continue with this engagement for the next 3 years with this administration? What would you like to see, and how do you want to attain and achieve that?
Well, there are 2-3 things.
And before I forget that, I just got an email from the Congressman Joe Crowley, who's the head of the India PAC, and he mentioned there was something about the DOD in terms of the, can you tell us a little bit about that, the discrimination that the Sikh community face, and they don't have that problem in terms of, can you tell us a little bit to the audience?
The United States Army had given an exception to the Sikh community that they can serve in the United States.
What a wonderful thing to do.
But no, that was during a long time ago. President Eisenhower had given.
Okay.
But then President Reagan took it away.
Okay.
And then later on, there was because of the Jewish communities or the Orthodox Jews, they gave an exception to yarmulke. But the headgear exception has been now being introduced, but they are still not giving an exception to having a beard.
And I believe that's for the law that has been passed.
Well, they have. What has happened is that they have given a headgear exception, but the facial hair, not yet.
Okay.
So there's
still some challenges that needs to be overcome.
Absolutely. So there are about 105 congressmen and representatives have given a letter to Secretary of Defense that to give this freedom to the Sikh community. So
that makes a lot of sense to me.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, I'm glad that you shared with the audience, because that to me is a great news. That's the first step.
Yes,
and
indeed.
there's a series of steps that's going to happen in order for you to gain the full freedom.
Yes.
To be.
So we would want President Obama to take a step, just like he has done with all the other issues, with the gay marriage and all the other issues. Why don't he just sends a message that he's ready for it, and then the whole thing will change. So it's just one statement by President Obama can change the whole thing.
Well, I thought he made a statement in terms of the inclusiveness and he talked a little bit about the community. So you want him, what exactly do you want him to do, and how do you go about it?
We would like him to say that it's okay for the Sikhs to serve. Sikhs are serving in Indian Army, in Canadian Army, in UK Army. Why not in American Army? So if that statement is done, the Department of Defense will have to follow the Commander-in-Chief. So
I do not speak on behalf of the administration, on behalf of, and they don't speak on my behalf. My personal view is the President is a wonderful person, and he cares about your community, he cares about our community, and I would hope that you should be able to engage the White House to make that statement, but I don't speak on their behalf.
Of course.
I would hope that you do that.
Yes. And secondly, we want President Obama to visit a Sikh temple.
Okay, and I thought there was something on his calendar or on his event that happened in New Delhi when he went to India. Somehow it got scratched.
Well, I was the one who was pushing for it.
Yeah.
But then somehow something happened and it just got scratched. But if he visits a Sikh temple here,
and there is a Sikh temple in this area.
Yes, there are many. Almost 9.
Oh, I did not know that.
So he can just go there, and just for him to be standing right next to a turban-wearing Sikhs, it shows the president is honoring the minority community in the United States. But that way, it gives us, not only us, but I think all Americans, they will be able to see that these are normal Americans. They are not some foreigners here or extremist group or Taliban trying to create harm to the American nation. But
so those are two things you want him to do.
Well, that's a third thing, if possible, appoint a Sikh in a high-level position where a Sikh is visibly seen. I mean, again, I sort of challenge my own community also that we need to be running for the offices.
And you need to be politically engaged.
Exactly.
And
so we are not always dependent on what the president needs to do. What are we doing to engage with the rest of the nation? So it's a both two-way street. But president can definitely take a step also to create a better understanding of who the Sikhs are.
There are some political appointee in the White House as well as in the Pentagon, if I remember, in the other.
There's only one.
I thought about USAID's one fellow is there too also.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Yeah. I remember the president gets the probably a lot of people trying to do the same thing from every community. But that's a good goal, and I think you should continue to work towards that goal so that you can attain and achieve it. Tell me a little bit about what's the future that holds for the Sikh community. If I have to look at it 10 years or 20 years from now, how would you describe that community, and especially engaging the next generation of Sikh community so they could be they feel part of the America and America's social and political fabric of society?
Well, in next 10 years, I definitely expect that there will be one elected official in the national scene.
Okay.
Either a congressman or I'm hoping that one of the young people will
aspire to be.
Will aspire to be. Because there are areas where Sikhs have done so well in California,
yes,
in New York, New Jersey areas, and there's a local council member in Hoboken in New Jersey. So I'm hoping, and I'm pretty much confident that they will definitely.
So that's the one goal you have. What
Absolutely.
about the other goals you have? How about educating the next generations to make sure they realize that how important it is for the education, which is a part of the South Asian DNA.
Absolutely.
How do you go about doing that?
Well, that's something which we want, that the gurdwaras, our temples, become a source of sort of an inspiration for a lot of these young people to become successful individuals.
Do you invite people to talk about it, and people who are the leaders, people who are the entrepreneur, people who have worked with the community,
yes.
so that you do that?
Yes, we in our own Gurdwara, we have introduced what was called a career guidance.
Okay.
So what we are asking these successful individuals to come and talk to the young people. And there are Sikh camps all over the country where these entrepreneurs are invited to engage and sort of share their experiences and success stories. So young people start becoming more involved and sort of they want to be in that position. So that's another part of this National Sikh campaign, is to really create a gateway or create an opportunity for young people to sort of dream high. Not just
aim high, work hard, and realize American dream.
Absolutely.
And that's what I wrote the book on, this thing called Renewing the American Dream. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you for your leadership, what you do for our country, for our community. It's very important for you to be engaged and talk about how we can take this relationship with the White House and with the other part of the American communities and American society to the next level.
Thank you so much. And
you're most welcome.
Really appreciate your leadership and your contribution.
Sure, thank you.
And may God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is our show. This is Frank Islam wishing you a great week. And thank you very much for watching.